I wanted to talk today about three Christmas-ish movies that I recommend. So these are movies that on the scale of Christmas movies, they're going to be on the Christmas light end, where Christmas is mentioned, but it's not a focal point of the movie. So these are, I'd say, are good warm up to Christmas movies, but I really enjoy them all. So I will just tell you about them and hopefully you can fit them in sometime before Christmas if you want, or if you're one of those who will watch a Christmas movie anytime in the year, then this video is just here for you throughout the year. And the first one is The March of the Wooden Soldiers. This is a Laurel and Hardy movie, and it is just such a delight. It's from 1934. It's from a long time ago, and I really do recommend it because it's Laurel and Hardy. So in case you don't know, they're this comedy duo, and just have a really fun kind of physical comedy that they do, and they're just so funny. And so this is the story of Babes in Toyland. The original title of the movie was March of the Wooden Soldiers, and then the subsequent remakes have all gone by Babes in Toyland. And it's just the land where all the toys live, and Santa is there, and Little Bo Peep is in love with Tom the Piper's son, and then there's an evil landlord who he's this gross old man named Barnaby, and he wants Bo Peep to marry him, or he's going to call in the loan on the old woman in the shoe. And it's just very charming. And so the only aspect about it that's Christmassy is that Santa is in it. And he's there when he orders some toys to tell them the toys that he wants to order for Christmas. And I was thinking about it, I associate it with Christmas because I watched it at Christmas time growing up. And I was watching it with my boys, and I'm like, what actually is Christmassy about this? So I'm like, I guess because it's Toyland and Santa does make an appearance in there. But it's really charming and definitely a good warm up to Christmas movie. And the next one is one that I watched for the first time this year, and that is It Happened on Fifth Avenue. I had heard from a family member that they really liked it, and so I wanted to see it. And I was disappointed at how little Christmas was in it. But that was the only thing that disappointed me about this movie. And I just have to say, the two leads in this movie blew me away. They had such a charismatic personalities, charismatic on screen, and they were I was just so drawn to watching them. They really just I had never seen either of them in anything. And it was just really it's really wonderful to watch marvelous acting, and this had an incredibly Christmassy charm to it. And there is this old house that there's this old house owned by the O'Connor family in Manhattan. And every year they leave for about 6 months and they go down to Virginia, and they live in a nice big house in Virginia. But then they'll come back to the house. And you find out there is a squatter who's living there, and he does this every year. He comes there while they're away. And then he ends up taking in another squatter who's gotten kicked out of his place, who becomes the new guy who he takes in, ends up being the romantic lead in the movie, or one of the romantic leads in the movie. And they just start spending time together, and eventually this young woman shows up, and it is Mr. O'Connor's daughter. She has run away from home, but she doesn't tell either of them who she is, and she gets them to agree to let her stay. She lies about who she is. And basically, they end up continuing to take more and more people to stay in this house. And at some point, the daughter of John O'Connor, he figures out where she is. And she tells him that she's in love with this man, and she wants him to meet him, but not as John O'Connor, because she doesn't want him to like her for her money. And so then her father comes in disguise and starts working as a cook and doing all sorts of things. And none of them know that it's John O'Connor living with them. So it had so many funny lines. And like I said, it was just incredibly charming. And I really do recommend it. It was just really fun and just kind of what you want in an older movie. It had so much charm to it. So I definitely recommend that one. And then the last one is one that I have watched so many times, and that is The Shop Around the Corner. This is with Jimmy Stewart, and this is the original You've Got Mail. So in this instance, in The Shop Around the Corner, there are two employees who are fighting all the time I know her as Clara. I was going to say Miss Novak because that's what like everyone in the store calls her, but Clara. And they are pen pals. And so they're writing to one another on paper, but meanwhile, while they're in person with one another, they're fighting all the time. They really got off on the wrong foot and then haven't been able to kind of figure out what to do since that. And then kind of the You've Got Mail plot, if you know that, you can kind of get a sense of what's going to happen with this. But what I really like about the shop around the corner is that the other employees, there's some really interesting storylines that happen with them, but it's just very, very charming. It does end on Christmas Eve, so there's a little bit of Christmas that happens there, and it is just really sweet and endearing, and it's just one of the best movies out there. I really don't get tired of it, and I like to watch it sometime around Christmas or New Year's, sometime in there. And yeah, I just can't recommend it enough. So those were the 3 Christmas-ish movies I wanted to talk about. And I am really feeling like watching so many Christmas movies this month. So I will keep, maybe I'll make another video or 2 about the Christmas movies that I've watched, kind of reviewing them, if I like them, if I didn't like them. But I hope you'll give these 3 a try at least. And I will be back for another video soon. Bye.